My name is Mia Shato. I'm a 19-year-old college student. I study special education. So an accessibility advocate is someone who makes things more accessible, and they're advocating for reducing stigma, for making the world an easier place for everyone, not just people with disabilities, but people who use like strollers. The curb cuts in the sidewalk are great for everyone who use wheels, wheelchair, skateboard, mothers with strollers. It's kind of making everywhere accessible for everyone. Okay, so growing up, I don't actually have any memories until age 9. That's because part of my disorder is amnesic barriers. So I don't have any memories until like this body was aged 9. And then, my parents were decent people for the most part, and I was kind of like rebellious and didn't want to listen to anyone. So I don't know what happened in childhood. I moved from England to Canada when I was 5. I started being really horsey at age 7, and that's like as far as my childhood goes, I think. That's all I remember. So I have a dissociative identity disorder, which is a dissociative disorder caused by repetitive childhood trauma. And that can be anywhere from bullying at school to severe abuse, really anywhere in between. And this disorder was created by a child's mind to protect the child from the trauma that was happening. So for me, I have quite a few alters, and they each have their own reason for existence. My role in this system is to do everyday life, to talk to people, to socialize, to make food, to do schoolwork. And others in the system, they have the role of holding the trauma and the feelings so it doesn't overwhelm me, because in DID, if the host, which is me, the person who fronts the most, if the host knows about the severity of the trauma, there's a very, very high chance that it'll completely overwhelm them and something bad could happen. So everyone in the system has a specific role, and they're each their own person who have their own likes, dislikes, personalities, and they're very, very separate from each other. The states of self can't integrate, and each state of self develops into their own person, essentially, and they all have different life experiences. So having dissociative identity disorder, there's a lot of missing gaps in my day. That's part of maybe something I can't handle is showering. That's something that I just don't do. So I will go back into the headspace. My consciousness will leave my brain essentially, and someone else's will pop into the front and shower. And when I am not in this body talking, doing things, essentially I don't have any concept of time. I'm basically asleep. And sometimes I can be missing chunks from a couple of seconds to months, years even. I've learned that the people who don't support you, who don't love you, are not your people. And as hard as it is to remove yourself from those people, it's going to be for the best, as much as it hurts and as horrible as it's going to feel. Those aren't the people that are going to love you unconditionally, because you're perfect no matter what. And although it'll take some time to find your people, once you find the people who love you and support you no matter what, you're going to become a really beautiful person. No matter all the bad stuff that's happened, no matter what people have said about you, you're like absolutely amazing. And the friends you surround yourself with, your true friends, will support you no matter what. And I've had some friends who have drifted apart because dissociative identity disorder can be super scary for people who are friends with someone who has that. They don't want to be around people who have dissociative identity disorder. There's a lot of stigma around it, with like the stigma surrounding if you have dissociative identity disorder, you're a bad person, you're going to hurt other people. And a lot of that is thanks to the media. That, there's a movie Split, and it's a horrible movie about someone who has dissociative identity disorder or multiple personalities, and they're abusing 3 young girls. But when in reality, people with dissociative identity disorder are more likely to be abused than abuse other people. But I've got some really good friends now. So I have now a couple of good friends who have dissociative identity disorder, and other people who are just normal people, and they're like, yeah, that's cool. They just adjust, go with the flow. If a little altar comes out, they're like, hey, what's up? Let's go get candy. If someone who's a little bit more mature, who's isn't a fan of doing this thing, they'll go off and we'll do something else. And it's really nice. But it was really hard finding those people, and it was really scary opening up to those people and going, hey, I've got this disorder. If this happens, please do this, 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 and this. And it's like, it takes a lot of trust on like both sides. Like my friend has to trust that we're not going to do anything and that they're going to stay safe. And we have to trust that they're not going to tell other people. So I think one of the biggest things when I became open about having dissociative identity disorder, I actually put a video up on YouTube and I was like, hey, this is what this disorder is, this is how it affects me. And I got posted on an illness faking Facebook page. And people were saying, there's no way you can have that disorder. You don't look like you have it. There's no way someone your age could have that disorder. It's too rare to have it. Someone said my alters seemed fake. And I was reading these comments and I was going, well, that's a bias. Anyone of any age can have this disorder. Alters are their own people. They're not role played or anything like that. And I was just reading these comments and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take this video down now, because I was getting some nasty comments about just things about this disorder that wasn't true. And people were saying there's no way she could have that disorder because if she actually had it, she wouldn't be able to function. And that's a pretty big, I guess, like misnomer, stigma around it, that if you have a severe mental illness, you can't function at all and you can't live a normal life. But it's very much not true.
Where are you at now with your life?
I'm dissociating, hold on.
That's okay.
Oakley, come here. Can you come here? Hi. Honestly, I don't want to give you kisses right now. You have makeup on. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah? Come here. It's okay.
Did you want to stop?
No, I'm good.
Okay,
It's
take your
just-
time.
Yeah, dissociating.
You know when it happens, eh?
Yeah, it's really easy to identify when it's happening because everything gets like super blurry, and like I can like move my arms but I feel like I'm not connected to my body. Essentially, it's just when your brain disconnects from your body, and it's really weird. Oh, can you back up? Can you hop up? Can you hop up? He's like, no, you don't fit. Come here. I need a hug. Can you give me a kiss? Thank you. I really do not want to switch in the middle of this.
It's okay.
Oh my gosh.
It's okay.
Thanks. Do you want to settle? He's like, okay. I suppose so. Yeah, he's like, you're dissociating. Let me ground you. Thank you. So this is one of the things he's trained to do, is tactile stimulation. And he'll do that until he feels like I'm more with it. It's very helpful. Usually he'll lick my face, which I find is a lot more grounding. He's like, okay, I think you're good. Am I good? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. I know, good boy. As bad as it is right now, and as bad as you might feel right now, it will get better eventually. It's not going to happen quickly, and it's going to be really, really hard to get better and to make things better, but eventually it will be better and things will be okay. And it'll all be okay one day. As terrible as right now seems, there's a lot worth living for, even if everything seems really terrible.